The Department of Justice has prosecuted and charged a former intelligence employee, a federal intelligence employee, for allegedly leaking government secrets to reporters at the Intercept. Daniel Everett Hale of Nashville was arrested and charged under the Espionage Act and with theft of government property. So prosecutors are alleging that in 2013, while Hale was enlisted in the Air Force and assigned to the National Security Agency, he began communicating with a reporter. Details in the indictment suggest the reporter worked for the Intercept. Hale allegedly printed 36 documents from his top secret computer and provided at least 17 of them to the reporter and the Intercept, which published the documents in whole or in part. 11 of the published documents were marked as top secret or secret, prosecutors said. So I went back and took a look at the article in question, which was published in the Intercept. I'm gonna give you details to that in just a second. But understand that the Department of Justice under the Trump administration is absolutely and very aggressively going after whistleblowers and anyone who leaks anything to reporters, especially when it comes to foreign policy.
Again, in Washington, there are leaks everywhere. And if you leak something that is positive about the government, no one is ever prosecuted. If you do personal vendetta political leaks, no one is ever prosecuted. That's the game that's played in Washington. But if you're an American patriot and you think that the American people should find out what their government is doing secretly, oh, they're gonna come for you. No, power must be protected at the cost of transparency and democracy. So what they're doing to this person in the sentence that they are seeking is unconscionable. Do we have freedom of the press or don't we? So I understand that he's not a member of the press. He's the one that did the leak in the first place, but Daniel Ellsberg was not a member of the press. He leaked the Pentagon Papers. And back then we actually had a country that cared about democracy and freedom of the press. And Ellsberg never went to prison. But now we treat these people in brutal fashion.
And these types of leaks are important because it gives you insight as an American, as a voter, what the government is doing behind the scenes. Because the stories that were published as a result of these leaks basically identifies certain wars that we were involved in that we shouldn't have been involved in, that the American people were completely unaware of. So let me give you details into that. The documents contained a PowerPoint presentation on counterterrorism operations, described a military campaign targeting Al-Qaeda, included information gathered by the NSA on specific named targets, and outlined US military technical capabilities. The documents were later compiled and published by the news website, The Intercept, and in a book authored by the reporter. So I want to give you a few snippets from Nick Turks's piece in The Intercept. It was published in October of 2015. And here's what he wrote. The US military has, since 9/11, engaged in a largely covert effort to extend its footprint across Africa with a network of mostly small and mostly low-profile camps. Some serve as staging areas for quick reaction forces or bare-boned outposts where special ops teams can advise local proxies. Some can accommodate large cargo planes, others only small surveillance aircraft. So we're engaging in, conflicts in Africa. We're putting ourselves in these situations, and the Americans have no idea, right?
Yeah. So I want to make an important distinction. If he had leaked and they had printed, okay, here's where the outposts are. Well, that could put people's lives in danger, and that would be a real issue. But that's not what they're doing. What they're doing is saying, the American people should know the wars and conflicts we are engaged in that the government is lying to you about. That is absolutely critical. That's very similar to the Pentagon Papers. But now our country has become more militaristic, and the elites have gained tighter control over us, including, yes, the defense contractors that start these wars and propagate these wars. And so this is a way of getting everybody to comply. We will have these wars whether you like it or not, whether you agree to it or not.
The piece also says all have one mission in common: to eradicate what the military calls the tyranny of distance. These facilities allow US forces to surveil and operate on larger and larger swaths of the continent, meaning Africa, and increasingly to strike targets with drones and manned aircraft. final portion of this, and I think this is incredibly important, and again, this is in the piece from October of 2015. According to an internal 2013 Pentagon study obtained by the Intercept on secret drone operations in Somalia and Yemen between January 2011 and the summer of 2012, a secretive unit known as Task Force 48-4 carried out a shadow war in the region. So these shadow wars are happening, the American people have no idea about it, and someone with a conscience within the NSA decides to leak information about it to a reporter, and now he's facing espionage charges as a result.
So the Orwellian use of the phrase tyranny of distance, does that mean because of the distance between here and Africa, the Americans are being subjected to tyranny? No, they're saying it's making it harder for us to conduct shadow wars and do our tyranny because there's too much distance. So let's plant an outpost in the middle of these countries. Let's not tell the American people and continue these conflicts. And then later a war will pop up and we'll tell people, well, there was nothing we could do. We had to enter that war. And hey, look at that, lo and behold, the defense contractors made even more money. No, the real tyranny comes from the government and not from the leakers and not from distance. And so I have to also point out, all of this started under Obama. 2015, Obama's president, he authorizes all this, and then in an unprecedented fashion uses the Espionage Act against people who are supposed to be spies working on behalf of a foreign government, totally misuses that to go after not only the leakers, but also against the journalists. And he opened a door, and now Trump is happily walking through it going, hey, see, Obama did it. So let's go crush the reporters, let's go crush the leakers and make sure that American people never find out about our tyranny. So thanks a lot, President Obama, and now President Trump. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.